Today, we are going to dive into one of my favorite topics, and that is energy, energy healing, and your vibration, and how it connects to your spiritual awakening, your healing journey, and the way you manifest everything in your life. So, hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Journey to Happiness. So, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited to have you. And if you are a returning, listener, then thank you as always for tuning back in. So I think this is a really cool episode, and I'm just ready to dive right in. And so let's get started. You know, First of all, energy is everything, okay? Everything is energy. You can refer this as an electromagnetic field or your creative field, whatever you want to call it, but it's all energy and it's all a vibration that you are emitting out into the universe, okay? Do you ever wonder why some days you feel magnetic, like things just flow easily and life is great, and then other days it feels like everything is stuck or heavy? Well, if so, then this episode is for you guys. We're going to unpack a lot here. We're going to unpack how energy works, how to raise your vibration, and how that directly impacts your healing and your ability to manifest what you truly desire. Okay. Like I said, everything in the universe is made of energy, including you, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body. They all vibrate at different frequencies. When we talk about vibration, what we really mean is it's the energetic frequency you're currently resonating at. Okay. It's a frequency that you're resonating at. Um, do you ever walk into a room or even just see a person and you instantly feel amazing, right? You instantly feel like this person's great or this room is great. You hear people say all the time, "Oh, the energy of this room is amazing." And on the contrary, you might walk into a different room and you're just like, "Oh, I don't like it here. Like I don't want to be here." And you don't know why. You can't put your finger on why. Well, that's because that's the energy that people are vibrating at, okay? That you have low vibration and then you have a higher vibration and everything in between, okay? So this is a thing. I'm sure you've probably all experienced that and maybe you just didn't know where it was coming from. Well, this is why, okay? And you've probably heard people say you attract what you are. Well, that's because energy attracts energy. Or if you are vibrating in fear, doubt, or lack, you're going to attract experiences that match those frequencies. But when you start operating from love, from gratitude, and from joy and peace, your energy field opens up and you naturally attract experiences that will reflect that higher vibration. This is not magic, folks. It's not anything like that. It's just called alignment. It's being in alignment with things. Your inner world is constantly shaping your outer reality, and it's because of the energy you are vibrating at. You know, this is why I talk a lot about healing, which we're going to go into in a minute. I'm not diving deep into healing today because I did a big podcast episode on my last one, so you can go check that out. I talk about it all the time because if you still have limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind, then that is the energy you're going to be emitting out into the universe, and therefore things are going to happen that you don't want to happen, okay? So let's now talk about energy healing, okay? Because I mentioned we were going to talk about it. We're not going to dive. This is, again, guys, this is just touching the surface on this stuff. So just bear with me and just pay attention because it's really important. So, energy healing is the process of bringing your energetic body, your chakras, your aura, your emotional, excuse me, and spiritual energy back into harmony, um, so that everything is flowing freely, right? There's many modalities that you can have. You can have Reiki, you can do meditation, breath work, prayer, or even just deep emotional release, which breath work is really, really good for that. This is one reason I preach meditation. That is my go-to here, for clearing my energy and for energy healing. I do lots of meditation and it definitely just sets the tone for my day and it sets the night for my sleep. I do it every morning and every night, and sometimes in between if I'm feeling, froggy that day. I mean, because we'll have a little bit bad days, right? But that's why these tools are so important. Meditation is quick, it's easy. I preach it all the time, okay? So let's get back on track though. The thing is, when you go through trauma or heartbreak or bring periods of stress, your energy gets blocked. So you can kind of think of it as like a garden hose. So with a garden hose, okay, there's a kink of it. Like there's a kink in the garden hose, the water can't get through. It can't flow freely. The same thing happens with your energy. Those kinks can show up as anxiety, fatigue, feeling stuck, or even physical illness. Our body stores things. I see this a lot with people, a lot of people who have had trauma and talk about post-traumatic stress disorders and things like that will have one common one we see a lot is back pains, back chronic back pain, degenerative disc disease. It's huge in the medical field, and most of those people, when you get down to it, they have had some type of trauma in their life, and that unhealed trauma does manifest in the body as physical illness. So energy healing helps remove those blockages to your life force energy so it can move more freely. And when that energy flows, your vibration then rises naturally. And that's when healing can happen. That's when clarity, confidence, and peace start to return. Okay. Now, let's talk about energy and spiritual awakening. Okay. So during a spiritual awakening, because, I love to talk about that stuff, I love to go deep with all the spiritual stuff. Your energy is shifting. It's definitely shifting to a higher frequency. Okay. Sometimes dramatically. You might start becoming more sensitive to people's emotions and crowds, or even certain foods and environments. You may feel drained after being around negative energy, or deeply moved by music, nature, or acts of love. And so, this is what I was talking about with the negative energy. This is where a lot of that comes into play. You really start to feel this. The sensitivity, it's not weakness. It's just an expansion of you because you're going through this spiritual evolution of your soul right now. Your vibration is rising and are becoming more aware of the energetic world around you. This is also why healing becomes so important during the awakening process, okay? We don't want to bypass the healing. I did this. I was guilty of this. I just wanted to live in the love and light, and I didn't heal a lot of things I needed to heal. And so then I had to backtrack, okay? But healing is so important because as your vibration increases, anything that is not in alignment with you, old trauma, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, they start surfacing to be released. It's the universe's way of saying you can't take that old energy with you to the next level. I also dealt with this through my spiritual awakening journey. As I started to evolve and I started to grow, and when I finally started to really start healing and going on this path, like everything started to fall out of my life. Like people, the house I had to move, I had friends all fall away, and it was really, really hard. It's so hard. I've talked about this on previous episodes, and I'm trying to stay on track, but I have to just mention this because it's super, super hard when you have that happen. But what I want everyone to understand is they're falling away because they're not growing with you. If people are falling away from you, or relationships are ending, or you have to move how locations, or a job falls away, any of that stuff, it's because you're vibrating at a higher level now, and that stuff is no longer meant for you because your frequency is different. Okay. It's all about the energy, though. This is the point. It's all about the energy and it's all about the vibration. Okay. You just can't take any of that old shit with you to the next level. Not if you want to truly evolve and keep going and growing and healing and, spiritually evolving. Okay. So, if you have been feeling emotional, lost, or exhausted lately, just know it's part of the process and you're not falling apart. You're clearing out everything that isn't your truth, that's not meant for you. Okay. So, let's talk about why energy is important for manifestation. Okay. So manifestation, I talked about it, was it last week, or I don't know, I've talked about it for a couple weeks, because it's also part of the spiritual or journey, the spiritual awakening journey. So manifestation, though, it's not just about visualizing and saying affirmations, okay? I've said this before. Um, it's about the energy that's behind them, okay? If you're saying words like I'm abundant, or I'm worthy, or I'm loved, but your energy is still rooted in fear or lack, then the universe responds to your energy, not your words. So, again, this is why healing is so important because the goal isn't to force positive thinking. It's to shift your vibration to match what you want. Again, this is what I mean when I talk about spiritually bypassing. I did this for a while, okay? I found teachers who were talking about keeping the faith and living in the love and the light and being positive. So I thought that's all I had to do. I could just stay positive all the time and everything was going to be great. But the feelings are still the limiting beliefs, and those feelings are still there underneath the surface, even if you don't realize it or not. Okay. They're still there. And that is emitting an energetic vibration that is going out into the universe and telling the universe what to bring back to you. Okay. So you have to heal. And I think I always talk about healing, and I know it's probably why a lot of people don't see this podcast because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Because when I talk about healing, it's not like, oh, I healed from this broken heart. I'm talking like it's not your fault that things happen to you and you have these beliefs, but what it is your responsibility to now do something with this, right? Now that you know, you got to do something with it. And that means facing the fact that like you are responsible for what is happening in your life now. So when you're saying like, all men suck and I can't find a good relationship and men are just bad news. No, you have to take responsibility. The fact that you attracted those men into your life because you're vibrating at that frequency, because you still have limiting beliefs of unworthiness, abandonment wounds, becoming you're maybe codependent. Like there's a multitude of things you can have, but you're vibrating at that level. It's not that all men suck. It's, I mean, and another thing is your words are spells. So you're telling that to the universe when you say that. And the universe is like, oh, okay, your wish is my command. Here you go. Here's another sucky man. Like that's how it works, guys. So you really like that's why healing is so important, okay? Sorry to go off on another tangent about healing, but it's important, 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 okay? What I mean, okay, healing the old wounds that are keeping you in survival mode, okay? Healing those subconscious beliefs, you know. This is how you shift your vibration to match your energy, okay? You gotta heal the old wounds that are keeping you in survival mode. Practice gratitude for what already is. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can have. So even if the only thing you have to be grateful for is listening to this podcast, or the only thing you have to be grateful for is a pen and a piece of paper so you can journal your feelings or write things down. Like that's sorry, my phone's going off. That is that is just really key in keeping your vibration high, okay? Spending time in environments and with people who uplift your energy. Get rid of the negative Nancy's, okay? If you have that one friend who maybe you've been friends with her for years, whatever, or him, and they're just, every time you're around them, you constantly feel like they're complaining or, their energy is just always low. Stop hanging out with them, okay? Stop it. And then taking aligned action from a place of trust and not desperation. So taking action, but not because you're desperate for money or not because you're desperate for love or not because you're desperate for anything, but just from a place of trust that everything is going to work out. Okay. When your energy, mindset, and actions are aligned, then manifestation becomes effortless and you can stop chasing and actually start attracting. Okay. So how do you raise your vibrations? How, again, very, very minor surface here we're touching, but I'm going to give you a couple ways to start to raise your vibrations and start to get your energy cleaner, okay? So the first thing, I've talked about this before, but it has to be number one on the list is start your day intentionally. And what does that mean? Do not, and I repeat, do not reach for that phone first thing in the morning. I mean, honestly, guys, I could go off on a whole tangent about the screen time that everybody, I guess, shouldn't say we because I don't really do it anymore, but that everybody is like addicted to. Maybe we'll do a whole podcast episode of the fact that everybody's face is pointed down on the screen like 95% of the time, and it's like horrible. I see it at the gym, I see it everywhere I go. I'm just like, oh my gosh, people. But anyway, let's get back on track. And the thing is, do not reach for that in the morning. Like you need an hour before you look at that thing. You never know what's going to pop up on your phone. Okay. You don't know what, you might say, well, my algorithm's really good. And, I have a lot of self-help stuff. You still don't know. Like you have no control when you pick that phone up. You have no control if somebody's text you an angry message or if you go on and all of a sudden there's a news clip and something bad happened in the world. Like you don't want to start your day with that shit in your brain. It sets the mood for your entire day and it causes negative energy and it causes a bad mindset for yourself, okay? So instead of reaching for the phone, ground your energy with prayer and deep breathing and meditation. If you're a big journaler, this is a perfect time to like journal things out too. Or if you have like if you remember your dreams, like a great time to maybe write down your dreams. I'm not huge on journaling, so I talk about it a little bit because I think it can be powerful. But my thing is prayer and deep breathing and meditation. Like those are my go-tos. So start your morning with this, and it doesn't have to be long. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, I suggest at least 10, honestly. And you can just envision the light all around you. It's difficult at first when you first start meditating because the thoughts do come in, but the point is to observe the thoughts and let them go and understand that they're just thoughts, okay? Please do this instead of reaching for your phone. It's one of the quickest ways to raise your vibrations, okay? Um, Another thing, and I do this in the morning too, it's a great time to practice your gratitude. Again, gratitude immediately shifts your frequency to abundance. And abundance, I don't mean like just money, but I mean abundance in all areas of life. So when you're doing the prayer, the deep breathing, the meditation, or journaling, if that's your thing, also do the gratitude. And you can do the gratitude in a journal form too, like write down a gratitude list. You don't have to write, I don't write it down, but every morning, like as soon as I open my eyes, before I'm even out of bed, I am practicing gratitude. This is just a really good way to start your day off on a high vibe, with a high vibe mindset, I guess you could say. Um, Another thing here, I guess this would be what, number three, is moving your body. Energy loves movement. So you can dance, you can stretch, you can walk outside, anything that like shifts your physical state. Go to the gym if that's your thing. I love to go to the gym. I go 6 days a week. I don't go in the more. I would actually love to incorporate this in more of my morning routine. I tend to go a little bit later in the day after work, but literally, like it just sets the tone. I mean, I can feel it, I can feel it after I'm there for like a half an hour. My whole body shifts, my whole mood shifts. Like it releases so much and it really gets the blood pumping. And it is really, sorry, I should turn this on. Do not disturb, guys. But that is just a really, really important way to keep the energy flowing and to get more in a high vibrational state, okay? Another thing is just stay hydrated and eat clean. Okay. Eat as clean as possible. I know it's hard in this environment, but that we live in America. But the thing is, high vibe foods fuel high vibe energy. So that means cutting out the processed food, drinking lots of water, cutting out the processed food as much as possible. Again, I know it's easier said than done sometimes because to eat clean, you do have to find the time to cut the vegetables and to cook the food and all the things. And I know that's difficult for people, but I'm telling you, the way your body will feel afterwards, and I'm not saying you have to do this like every single day, 24/7. Like I still love my pizza, guys. I ain't gonna lie, I still love my pizza. So I still do, I don't not like where I won't ever have that bad shit, but I limit it. I limit it a lot and I try to eat as healthy as possible. I don't even really say healthy, but like clean, clean. So, going to the farmer's market, I'm getting, the pasture raised meat. The cows are pasture raised and grass fed or whatever it is, eating things that aren't processed, no TV dinners, no pizza rolls, no like all that shit, um, it's really going to raise your vibrations also, okay? And then protecting your energy, okay? Protect your energy from other people. Again, this goes to, to the like what I said earlier, when you have that one friend that's like negative Nancy, and every time you're around her, you feel worse, Protect that energy. It's okay to set boundaries. Not everyone gets access to you, okay? And that's hard when you've been friends with people for a long time. But, it's okay to take a step back, especially when you're growing and evolving and you realize that maybe, I mean, it's hard, but maybe certain people just aren't meant for you anymore. And that's okay. You know, Sometimes people are meant for a season, sometimes they're meant forever. You never really know. But you just have to trust everything's working out for your highest good, okay? And the last one here is spending time in nature. The earth actually naturally rebalances your frequency and rebalances your energy. So, really awesome to go outside barefoot in the sun, get a little bit of sunlight. I'm not the greatest at this, I will be honest. I need to do more of this because I have done this and it's actually really powerful. If you just take off your shoes, walk barefoot in the grass. When my garden was going, of course it's dying now because it's getting cold here, but I there was times I would go out there and just like sit by my garden, and it's really powerful. Getting around water too, like moving water, or even just like a lake or something, a river, a lake, or ocean. Any type of water is also a really good natural, like kind of cleansing and healing your vibration type of activity. So, um, the thing is, guys, your energy is your greatest tool for transformation. Okay. When you understand it and you learn how to nurture it, then you become magnetic. Healing becomes natural and manifestation becomes effortless. And your spiritual awakening will start to feel a little bit more like homecoming and remembering of who you really are. So, today, just take a deep breath and remind yourself that you are energy, you are love, and you are light. And everything you desire is already responding to your vibration. So, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this resonated with you. Again, this is just touching the surface. If you guys have any ideas for episodes that you would like to hear in the future, I talk about a lot of different things. Just hit me a message on Facebook and we can talk. Or you can also leave me. I have trouble reading my reviews on Apple Podcasts for whatever reason, but if you watch this on YouTube and you leave me reviews there, I can or not reviews, but like comments, I can, look into like if you have something that you would love to have me talk about, then maybe we will do that. I would love to know what you guys want because this, even though this brings me a lot of joy, this is really for you guys. It's bringing you guys the stuff that I've learned, and some of it I've learned the hard way. Like I talked about my spiritual bypassing. That's why I talk so much about healing because I don't want you guys to do that because it makes the journey longer, okay? So I'm just really trying to bring the tips and tools that I've learned along my journey to you to maybe help you on your journey. And I am looking at putting out some things down the road. I'm still working on them to maybe help people do some energy clearing and have some good meditations and maybe do some work on themselves to maybe help that healing process a little bit more so that we can all be manifesting what we want, right? Like that's what it's all about. So, anyway, if today's episode resonated with you, then please, please take a moment to share it with a friend or to leave a review. That helps more people discover this message of healing and awakening. And that's what my goal is to spread this message. And again, just to help people along their spiritual awakening path and to help them let go of those toxic patterns and get to a life full of joy and peace and love and manifestation and all the cool things, right? So I would love it if you would do that. It would just really be helpful. So until next time, guys. Stay grounded, always be grateful, and remember that you're absolutely loved and cherished. Okay. I love you guys so much as always. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.